about sink and float experiment? Of course. Almost everyone knows about sink and float experiment. So let's try this piece of paper dipping in this water. Whether the piece of paper will float or sink. Of course, piece of paper will float. Let's rub it. Oh, it's floating. Let's try another one. The paper is floating. Let us see what happens to this nail. It sinks. And you know when the paper floats and the nail sinks? Because the water is much more denser than the paper and the nail is much more denser than the water. So now let's move to the next experiment. Now let us start with mixing impossible experiment. So I'm going to put 100 milliliters of water in this cup and I'm pouring 100 milliliters of oil in the same cup. It's getting all bubbly. And see how the oil is up and the water is down? Because the oil is much more less denser than the water and the water is denser than the oil. Now we are going to mix it. Mixing is impossible. Mix. So now I'm done mixing. Let's see. Even if I agitate, oil is up and the water is down. So that means the water is much more denser than the oil and the oil is less denser than the water. So now let's take the food coloring, pour it inside. After I pour the food coloring, let's mix. Mixing is impossible. Mixing is impossible. Mix. Even after I mix, the oil is in the top and it's not mixing with the food coloring because the food coloring has water which is much more denser than the oil. Let me play for some time. Wow, I got the balls out. But they are not actually balls. They're food coloring. If you see, they became flat when I pour. So they are liquid. So if you like this video, click a thumbs up and subscribe.